Together with you, we want to look back on the 3 days, which, if you include the pre-opening at the film museums, were actually 4 days. And
definitely feels like 4 days.
it was 4 days, yeah. And I'm Klemens Himpele, I'm the CEO of the city of Vienna, and I'm very proud that an important signal is being sent from Vienna. There have already been some great projects, lectures, prizes, and calls for proposals on digital humanism here in the past, which has now reached a wonderful climax with the first conference on digital humanism. Many thanks to everyone who made this possible and to all of you who were here. Before, what is expecting you in the next few minutes? Before we start with Erich, we have a message from the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on technology. He is not able to come over, I think, from the United States, but he sent us a short video message that we will play in the firstly. And afterwards, I have some questions to Erich, and I'll invite you later on and start with the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on technology, whose name Amandeep Gill.
It's 4 minutes 20. He's a bit slow in speaking, so bear with us. But
I thank the Association for the Promotion of Digital Humanism for this invitation to a timely conference on shaping our digital future. Human agency and the digital future are intimately connected. Breakthroughs in artificial intelligence show promise for accelerating productivity and economic growth. AI has already enabled groundbreaking discoveries, such as the discovery of proteins' complex structures that was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2024. While these developments are indeed awe-inspiring, we cannot lose sight of what technology should be: a tool to serve humanity, all of humanity. People, processes, and technology must come together to advance technological solutions that address the challenges of our time. How we act now will define our time. Our ability to reap the benefits of technological change will depend on the policies and the safeguards we will put in place. It'll also be a function of our ability to work together, what we call digital cooperation, across borders, across sectors, public and private, and most importantly, as one international community. Ladies and gentlemen, last September, heads of state and government gathered in New York to approve a pact for the future. A key part of the pact is the Global Digital Compact. The compact is the first comprehensive global framework for the governance of digital technologies. It recognizes the gaps we inherited from the previous decades, such as the connectivity gap and the harms of social media. It also emphasizes the need to better distribute the benefits of data equitably and ensure that artificial intelligence is governed in a transparent and human-centric manner. The compact is a call to action for governments, researchers, and companies to work together in pursuit of a digital future that's shaped by people and for humanity. It identifies clear priorities to make sure humanity is front and center in how AI is developed and rolled out. First, it commits to creating an independent international scientific panel on AI and a global AI dialogue within the United Nations. The panel will analyze risks and opportunities and provide scientific assessments for policymakers. The dialogue will help identify best practices across borders and sectors. It will be an inclusive platform for stakeholders and governments. Member states share the Secretary General's sense of urgency. This is why they are currently negotiating the terms of reference of the panel and the dialogue. This process is being co-facilitated by Costa Rica and Spain with a view to reaching an agreement in the summer. Second, the compact acknowledges the risk of the digital divide becoming an AI divide. International action with financial commitments to support developing countries in capacity building for AI is key. The Secretary General will present his recommendation on the matter in the coming months. Finally, the Compact sees human rights as the beacon guiding us in developing policies for our digital future and for the present. Now is the moment to define a sustainable relationship between technology and humanity for the 21st century. I encourage all interested organizations to endorse the Global Digital Compact and to support the work of the United Nations at this crucial time. Thank you.
Thank you, Amandeep. Gill. I don't want to go into all the great discussions and contributions we've heard over the past 3 to 4 days at the workshops, the discussions in the coffee breaks, the practical examples, and so on. But there was hardly anyone better than Erich Prem to summarize. Dr. Erich Prem is Chief RTI Strategy Advisor and CEO of eutema GmbH. He is an internationally renowned expert in research and innovation strategy with more than 2 decades of work experience in research and innovation management and RTDI policy. He was a guest researcher at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and all this and more in his CV is very impressive. But today, he's here above all because he is one of the major reasons why we all can be here. So Erich, the first question is very easy. How are you feeling after these 3 to 4 days?
Brilliant. I'm feeling very well because it'll be over soon. No, I'm feeling very good actually. It's surprising. I have just been to this last session upstairs, and your stamina is amazing. I mean, this is exceeding my stamina by far. So people actually, we had to kick people out of the room. No, that's brilliant. That's the best thing that can happen. I'm usually always very fearful of such things, but my worst fears have not come true. So thank you, everybody. It's been great, and I'm feeling good. So
we behaved in a way you hoped that we will do. Yes. So you are happy with the outcome of the conference?
Yes, I'm more than happy. So here's the thing. I mean, we have been the team that has been organizing this, and I'll say something about the team very soon. Of course, we have an idea of what digital humanism is, and we have been doing this for a couple of years now, and there have already been some events, now, obviously. But this is really different. In total, although you probably wouldn't believe it, there have been on the order of 550 people or so that have come over the 3 days, including cinema. And there has been a waiting list of 150. As you have seen, we could have squeezed a few more in, but that's a learning for the next one. So that's a good thing, and in that sense, it's a new event. We didn't have this before, so this is new. And there are people here who have been part of the group, and there's a lot of people here who have not been a part of this. And the fact that the UN Secretary General Envoy on Technology is a very complicated title, sends a message. I mean, is I guess a good sign. Although we have just heard in the Suite A above, we also have to be critical of how these processes at the UN level are driven and who's talking there. So despite this message, which we appreciate a lot, we also stay critical. No, I think there is a lot. There were very productive statements. And that's the thing I would like to see. I would like to see how to go forward from here. And I have seen a lot when I look at all the videos. So there have been videos and recordings and audio that will keep me busy for a month. And analyzing this, there is a lot we can take forward, and really nothing will be forgotten. It will lead to something. I'm absolutely sure.
You will have a lot of time because there will be a lot of bank holidays in the next weeks. We heard about the devil earlier this day in a session, but it was only a few weeks ago that many people were staring spellbound at St. Peter's Square and the fireplace there, and Leo XIII emerged as the new Pope. And in his first official audience, the new Pope also explained why he had chosen Leo as his papal name. And the last Pope with the name Leo XIII, was in office between 1878 and 1903. And he laid the foundations for modern Catholic social teaching. And in 1891 wrote the encyclica Rerum Novarum. papal circular that dealt with the rights of workers and capitalism at the beginning of the industrial age. In the broadest sense, it is about containment so that the technological change of the industrial revolution actually benefits everyone. And then Leo XIV said the following. The translation is not, it's not original in English. Huh? In our time, the church offers everyone the treasure of its social doctrine in response to another industrial revolution and the developments in the field of artificial intelligence. So was he right? Is digital humanism a possible response to this new technological revolution? Maybe a new narrative like we heard from Christiane Wenderhorst yesterday?
Yeah. So thanks for this question. It's, I always like to comment on papal statements.
You know, he's always true. That's the problem.
Yes, yes. No, no.
Question, sorry, I asked you if the Pope was right. That's, I'm sorry for that.
No, that's fine. So there's, of course, a very dangerous bend here that we are entering when you know the history of humanism and bringing in religion, and especially Catholicism. So my apologies to any proper humanist that's present here. But anyway, that doesn't keep the Pope from being right. And I think what I find striking, and actually I posted this on LinkedIn when I saw it, what strikes me about this is that Pope Leo actually makes a comment about the digital age and artificial intelligence and points out how important it is that we also take the social values into the future. And that is in one of his first statements. I think this is really remarkable. That really shows that it's what does religion usually do and what does the Pope usually do? They respond to the basic needs and fears and what people really need, not just intellectually, but also emotionally. And I think the fact that he points out these values also points to a task for us as digital humanists. We need to come up with some answers and some actions, not replacing religion, obviously, but providing answers that take some of this burden from people who are really afraid, who don't know what to do, and I think this is Leo only reconfirms what we have said before. So I think it's really
it's this way around. Yeah,
yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if the upheavals are so huge, what do we take away from the conference? I mean, does digital humanism just mean more bans and more law enforcement? Possibly even a strong state, or what will you take away from the discussions we had in the past days?
So, those of you who know me, I do think we need regulation. There's absolutely no question. But there was a wake-up call also by Christiane yesterday, Christiane Wenderhorst, who said we would actually 80% of the discussion we would need if we would only use the regulation that we already have. And I think that we have to be really careful. So I think there is a lot we can and should do, but a great part of it is just making sure that what we already have is put into place. And then there is an intellectual question that we need to answer. What about the rest? How do we address this? What is the right form of regulation? So, but having said that, I do not think we can solve the problem with regulation. That would be a very strange world where only regulation is driving us. I think we need a new ethos. We need people who understand what digital humanism is, what it means and should mean, and this needs to be taken up not just by us as intellectuals and not just by the population, also obviously by the industry. And I don't think this is utopia. In other areas, it is many companies strive for a behavior that is not inherently evil. And I'm really convinced of that.
The evil, the devil, the Pope. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, this is I can't change it. But so I do think regulation is important, but it won't solve the problem. We need something else, and that has to do with education. That has to do with insight. One thing that struck me just in the session also that I attended is there are so many people who bring together knowledge from different perspectives. Let's not repeat things too much. I mean, a certain level of repetition is necessary, but we need to move on. We do know a few things, as Lawrence Lessig has shown us in tears, that we now have a body of knowledge. Let's build on that and let's take it forward.
Yeah, you referred to Law and Classic in the first session. I think it was 2 days back. Also, Wendy Hall made the point how feasible the regulations are.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we heard a lot about the great possibilities of digital technologies in the last forum I attended. There was a debate about inclusion, how you can use technological new technologies to empower people. To participate in debates and in the working life and what so on. So the question would be: shouldn't we be talking more about commandments instead of prohibitions? What would be your takeaway from the conference here?
Yeah, so absolutely. Not only commandments. One thing that we have tried to bring in the design of this event was to also talk about positive examples. So one of the last sessions, actually, Georg Kraus is sitting here, who organized an Austrian award on digital humanism, which is an industry award. So this is, and this is, I think, again, this doesn't mean that this award is given to projects that are perfect in digital humanism, that they solve all the problems. This is not how this works, but they can be a light on the path to digital humanism. They can guide us. They can provide examples. They can also inform industry that some things are maybe not so difficult. Some things are maybe easy to do, and of this we need more. We had the UDIT session where I was explaining that in the European Digital Humanism Initiative, which is a new project, we are trying to do precisely this. We will identify good practice. That won't be perfect, but it will show the way. But of course, it's a mix. It's a mix of a new ethos. It's a mix of examples driving the industry, plus policy, and of course, a regulation.
Well, I come back to another debate we had here in the past days. There was a huge, then and now there was a debate about is it okay to use some, I don't know, technology from big tech companies and so on. And the question I have, is this not building up pressure on the wrong place? I mean, doesn't this moral argument ensure the practitioners who have to operate large data centers that are dependent on scalable technologies come under pressure, even though they use open source software in many cases, but can't get out of many products at all due to the lack of alternatives? And wouldn't political pressure in the direction of an industrial policy be more necessary and a more necessary objective, or like Mr. Rottenberg put it yesterday, a race on industrial solutions instead of a race on regulations? Shouldn't Europe or others first create alternatives?
No, so I don't think there's a contradiction there. This goes a bit in the direction of this regulation versus innovation, which I don't believe at all. I think that's a completely wrong way of looking at it. As was said today by someone, unfortunately I forgot who it was, regulation can also drive innovation, and that's a good thing. Of course we need these solutions, but it's wrong to assume that we need to start from scratch. This is just plainly wrong. Other countries have other solutions. So let me mention the French government, who has put out a certain technology stack. Well, it's a bad word, but let's say certain applications for their people to use, which do not make them, use Google or other things. And interestingly, despite the fact that it's done by the French, it's even available in English, so you can go out and try it. Now, whether that relies in the back on Amazon clouds, or I don't know, yeah, but of course there is an issue there. And there is a big debate in Europe about digital sovereignty. It's not just in Europe, also in Austria. We are increasingly having this debate. I'm involved in the project personally with the Austrian Research Promotion Agency and the Ministry of Innovation that tries to look into sovereignty as whenever there is research funding for a research project, actually. So asking the question, is this improving also sovereignty? So I think there is hope. It's not hopeless. We have a lot of technologies. Maybe we cannot solve all the problems at once, but even industry is becoming aware of this. So I think, but don't blame the engineers. The poor guys in the data center.
Well, you know, I asked this question, of course, because I see it like you. There is a lot of movement right now, and we all know why it is. And probably in 3 years' time, we will have another debate here than we have today. If the conference spent a little contribution to that, then we reached a lot. Yesterday, there was an exciting debate about space technology. It was in the question and answer round. There was a debate about space technology and the power of Elon Musk, who owns around half of all satellites. This came up at the cybersecurity panel yesterday. Well, I'm very proud that we as a city of Vienna can make a small contribution to breaking new ground here with a small lab for utilizing the data of the European Space Agency. But in yesterday's debate, however, it became clear that infrastructure is a huge issue. Network components, hyperscalers, satellites, whatever. Where are the real, you said something about the question of sovereignty when it comes to the United States or China or whatever. Where are the really big dependencies, and how can digital humanism provide an answer to this?
Thank you. Thanks for that question. It's something that I have a big interest in, even, let's say, outside the realm of satellites and kind of heavy type of infrastructure. Just think electric cars. I mean, I always go around with this saying that Elon Musk, if he has a bad day, can switch off your Tesla, should you own one. And that...
Ich habe gar kein Auto.
Yeah, that strikes many people and makes them think now that this is really strange. Yeah, so that of course also includes state sovereignty. I think we had a tender for police cars, for electric police vehicles in this country, and some actually. At a later point, after the tender was even half written, someone said, shouldn't we make sure that Elon Musk cannot switch it off? So I think it's these things where we need academia, where we need research, because we don't even know these things. We have to identify them. We have to point out these things, let alone come up with different solutions. So yes, I think it's not just Elon Musk. Renault is the same basically, and all others. So they can all switch off your electric cars if they feel so inclined. But there is, and on the other hand, and we have to admit this, there are quite a few types of infrastructure in the digital world where we do not have alternatives. So one example is operating systems for mobile phones. Basically, there's just two, and then there's some baroque ones or strange ones. And if we need to develop a policy for that as well. And that's something that I don't think is something digital humanism can solve. But we can point to it, and we can demand solutions from policymakers, and we can point out that this is important, what the consequences are, and what needs to be done. I think there we have a role to play. And of course, to analyze the situation and make people aware of this. Awareness is the first step here. But for some other things, we do have answers, as I said before.
Well, maybe that was part of the answer to my next question, because after the 3 days of this intensive dialogue we had here in the Museums Quarter, what is the call to action that you are taking away from the conference?
Yeah, I have been tasked with a lot of things to do now. So, no, I think for us, first of all, there has been an impulse here that's really great, that people want to act. Yeah, digital humanism is not just about analyzing things. I always say that. Although we still have to do this, yeah? So we need to analyze things, but it is also about taking this to action. This is because digital humanism, let's not forget, it was born at a technical university. We need to design better systems. I still believe in that, although at the same time, yes, it's not techno-solutionism. I do not think social problems can be solved with different technologies, but what is so frustrating for me as a half computer scientist is also that we do have better technologies and we can develop better technologies and we are not using them. So that's very frustrating. We need to do better while acknowledging not all the problems can be solved. Yeah? And then, of course, I think what we really need to do is we need to grow this community. there have been so many different players here. There have been, someone said, actually in my session, Yvonne Herrera said, we need to build networks of networks. Because this is what this could trigger. There is people from not just academia. There was a brilliant NGO session just now. There is policymakers. There is students and teachers. So all of we need to kind of find a way of taking this on and pushing it forward, and then leveraging it to a global level, which already we have. We already have some. So the Digital Humanist Association is a member of actually some other larger networks, but please, after this conference, also contact me. We will contact you. A lot of people have talked to me about what they can do, and they want to do projects, and so I think there's a lot going on, and we need to take this further. But we also have to institutionalize things, and now I'm saying something that I haven't said of the last 4 days. We need, also here in Austria, we need to take a next step. We need to make sure that this is not just, you know, a bright light flickering for half an hour. This should be a lighthouse that keeps guiding us for perhaps a decade or so, and then we have to come up with something new. But we need a structure that provides sustainability for at least some time in this country and maybe also at the European level.
Yeah, as an employee of the city administration, I'm really proud that we have such a lot of activities around this digital humanism topic here in the city. That was mentioned before a lot. You know, we have some industrial partners who did this award. We had conferences, lectures. We have with Sarah Spiekermann, one of the really famous professors. She was co-chairing the debate about IEEE 7000, and that you brought all these people together here in the Museumsquartier. I think it was a lot of work. I know it was not only your work, but I want really to thank you, Erich, for probably the past weeks, if not months, where you did hardly much other things than thinking about this conference. I'm really happy that your first answer was that you feel good. Yeah, that is really good, and I think it's really worth a round of applause for Erich that he organized all this.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. I have to. Yes. Thank you.
Before, I know what's coming now. Yeah, I saw a long list of other persons helping that this conference could happen. Yeah, Erich is one of them. Yeah, one of the most prominent, of course. And I know that you now have a long list to thank the persons. I think it's worth listening to that, because without the engagement of a lot of persons in Vienna and across the Viennese borders, such a conference cannot happen. So, Erich, please.
Yeah, no, I really want to do this. So I'm not going to everybody, but some of the there were so many people involved in this. Let me just give you an impression. I mean, first of all, you don't have to applaud after everyone, but after the next one, you should applaud, because this is, of course, Hannes Wertner, who is the inventor of digital humanism, at least for me. Maybe, as I said, there's several people claiming this title, but Hannes Wertner, thank you very much. This wouldn't have happened without you. I don't know where he is. He's probably having drinks already, that's fine. We had a senior advisory board, Nosche Contractor, Misha Gleni, George Metakides, Helga Novotny, and Moshe Vardi, who you've seen around. And we had a program committee, Anita Eichinger, Peter Knees, Katja Meyer, Michael Stampfer, and Stefan Woltran. Thank you very much. You did help us a lot in putting together this program, sometimes last minute. I'd like to thank the Claudia Zettel, who did this in the opening session, you know, moderating the session without a salary, for which we are really grateful. I'm also grateful, of course, for the politicians, Peter Hanke, Michael Heupel, who did the opening, Veronika Kaup-Hassler, who was very strong behind financing this whole thing, and of course Michael Stampfer from WWTF again. So, who also organized the patronage of our president, Alexander van der Bellen. Thank you very much. Thanks. And then to make this short, I already thanked Sabine Milnitsky and Piet Franzen, who really nicely worked together, complemented each other. Sabine Milnitsky with a level of detail that I found surprising, and Piet Franzen with a certain nonchalance that I also found surprising, but somehow it worked. I want to thank Michael Löwenstein from Film Museum for the surprisingly good film that we saw. It was really great. For those of you who haven't been there, I have to say this very briefly. This is a film about Brian Eno. Some of you know him as a producer from 80s bands, mostly like Ultravox and others. And a very clever film that is dynamically edited with the help of a generative AI. Every time it's screened. So I think it's really great. Thanks also, Michael, for organizing this. Thanks for the people from WWTF, especially I want to mention Petra Steinkogler, the city of Vienna, Raphael Hackel in particular, and Digital City. I think I have to mention Martin Gieswein, and our more than, I think we have been 24, 25 volunteers, many of whom from the technical universities and many others helped us. Thank you very much. It was great having you. And no, the last thing to say is I hope there's now drinks. Be careful with the drinks because food is only going to be arriving at 7. And we'll start with the industry evening. There will be something going on because we have awards. We have the Courier Award to students, which I believe are already sitting here, which is really great. So that's something also that Michael Stampfer organized together with the newspaper Courier. And then we have the announcement of a new call. So more money for digital humanism research by the research promotion, by the Vienna Business Agency, Tech for People. So that'll happen in roughly half an hour. So stick around a little bit. Thank you very much.
So there is no, at least for the Viennese colleagues, there's a bank holiday tomorrow. So even if you are tired after 3 days of debate, there's no reason going to bed early today. Thank you all. Have a nice next event at 7 o'clock and maybe a good drink now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us and have a nice evening.